квалификации, а также преданию суду тех, кто совершил многолетние.
Red 5, I'm going in.
Brain surgery, psychosurgery, creation of amnesia, parapsychology, manipulation of...
Televisor más grande del mundo.
Briefly and illegally override broadcast signals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, everybody, to Rad Pod and Chill. Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah, yeah. Wow. Hi-fi. Nice job. That felt really, 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 really good. While you were doing that, I was trying to figure out the date that we first launched, the date that we interviewed Dave Troy for episode 1. I feel like it was exactly like 4 years ago. One of you guys needs to look it up. I was trying to do it, but we've been doing this for 4 years. We've been telling y'all what was gonna shake down for a very long time, and here we are. Anyway, it's been an amazing week. You guys are in the US. Tell me what's on your mind.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago. I don't know if it was the day to the day. I think it's been a little over 4 years because I was the first time I was banned from Twitter for calling Joe Rogan Steve Bannon's gimp. And I made international news for getting banned for calling Joe Rogan Steve Bannon's gimp.
Wow.
Remember that when Twitter would ban you for a bunch of trolls reporting you for using a word that's like in their own like GIFs and shit. Anyway, so yeah, it was around 4 years ago. I wanted to pile on the props. High five. That was really good. That first part was fucking bad.
November 15th was the
Oh,
date.
I didn't do the first part. That was NAFO, guys. The
Yeah,
NAFO
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that
fellows.
yeah,
first part was
yeah.
badass. I mean, but it was
Yes,
badass to put
yes.
it there and all of the things. You did. You.
I am
It worked well.
so stoked about this episode. So anyway, we interviewed Dave Troy November 15th. It looks like 2021. Is that possible? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
November
Oh,
13th, 2021 was when the first episode.
actually, November 15th. And what's
Oh yeah, that was when we
interesting,
released. That was our
yeah,
first
because remember
official.
the
Oh,
pilot episode when we did the pilot, which we haven't released yet, which we should for our friends.
maybe
Yeah,
we'll release that on our 4-year anniversary, 5-year anniversary.
I think this is our 4-year anniversary.
Your anniversary.
I don't
Maybe
even.
we'll save it to the 10-year anniversary just to tease them a little longer.
Can I just tell you there's not a single mathematician on this show right now. We're like, it's November 7th and that's November 15th. I think that's like 8 days. Anyway, but we have so many friends who've been with us from, thank you so very much. You guys have a lot.
You're breaking up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting some weird static.
Yeah, your voice is coming in and out.
Oh no. Why don't I dump out and come back? But just remind
Yeah, you sound good now.
I do. I'm not
Well, no, it's like that.
It's like we have a bad connection across the pond. I don't understand.
Oh.
Hold on a second. Let me try this.
This switchboard and
Let me try this. Let me see.
Hello,
How's that?
operator.
You guys hear me okay now? What's
There you
up?
go.
You sound amazing.
No
Yep,
one
that's
has.
good.
There's not a single person who's ever watched Radicalized Truth Survives podcast because we have awesome technology. Like literally, it's 3 people who didn't know that we were going to be fighting Nazis for all these years, and here we are. So anyway, it's been a big week, and I want Jim and Hi-Fi to tell us what it feels. Well, Hi-Fi, why don't you start today? How does it feel that JD Vance's brother did not advance in Ohio? Start there.
Did not advance.
I'm sorry.
Is a
Yes.
very, very mild phrase for what happened.
Yeah, he was trounced resoundingly, and it's funny. It's funny that the fear and the racism and the hatred that he was spouting, and the turn up in crime and the coverage of crime, and oh my God, the police chief had to resign, but yet through all of that, the voters said, our guy may not be perfect, but at least he's not JD Vance's stepbrother.
Yeah. It's weird how
So-
they're all about the the pillaging hordes again. Like it's like, nothing new under the sun. I did a lot of reporting on Elon Musk this week. I don't like to, but it's been a minute since I've really paid close attention and examined what he's been doing, and it's been nothing good. And if I were the United Kingdom, I don't know if it was you, Jim, or Dave Troy, who said, just shut him down, shut down X. Like, this is nothing good for you guys. He's using old, 1920s German propaganda about these, marauding migrants who are coming to, rape your children. And it's like that stuff is 100 years old. And literally to have Elon Musk doing that right now, like, why are you letting this guy meddle in your affairs, United Kingdom? He targeted Scotland, Ireland, etc. And then, of course, everything he's doing online, as you guys know, is designed to control the narrative, to move the Overton window toward fascism.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I did a report, and I don't know why, but I just felt like looking into it. I looked at all the accounts that had been banned prior to him buying Twitter. And then I looked at all the accounts that he put back on, all these Nazis, all these anti-science, COVID deniers, and some of them are now, deputy director, like the FBI, etc. But when he actually put all of them back on, that was an act of war on our minds in America to serve the outcome of the 2024 election to Donald Trump, et cetera. And, I just think we cannot take our eye off this guy. And when Steve Bannon says, we're going to be in prison if they win the midterms, it's like they all should be in prison now. It's not hyperbole. It's like
Yeah.
the crimes that they've committed against our country are innumerable.
So speaking of Elon Musk, let me go a little deeper on him. I think his impact on propaganda and psychology and all of that is relatively well known, but I think he is now in a different position, in a totally different league of harm that he's doing. So there was a rift between Trump and Musk. Something seems to have patched that up because he put Musk's boy back in charge of NASA. I mean, it's here or there because Sean Duffy was going to, destroy the whole thing. But Elon Musk just got a $1 trillion shareholder package, the biggest transaction for any single human ever. An atrocity just by itself, just the scale of the numbers involved. It's just a fucking atrocity. It is not a transaction in any normal way. But in order to get his $1 trillion payout, he has to hit milestones. Excuse me, I have to cough. Including large increases in volume in Tesla sales, right? And what do Teslas need? All of them. Batteries. What do batteries need? They need lithium. So Elon Musk did a shareholder meeting where he bragged about this giant fucking lithium refinery in Texas. Now the problem is there's not lithium in Texas to fill it. So you need a supply, right? Now, on the same day that Elon Musk got his $1 trillion package and is boasting about his refinery, Donald Trump is screaming and yelling about Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. Huh? What the fuck? You guys have seen this probably and wondered, what the fuck? Nigeria is a very complex nation. It's split basically into Muslims, 50% in the north. This is rough, but accurate. 50% Christians in the south. These are Nigerian Christians. They have their own kind of version of Christianity. And Nigeria was one of the main recipients of aid from USAID. So we were keeping their clinics open. We were keeping food flowing so that the Boko Haram and other ISIS groups there didn't have an excuse, a lever to create violence and get more control over the population, which is the goal. Anyway, so when we cut all of that aid, the situation has gotten worse. Not like in some kind of crazy crisis way. There's nothing in particular. It's just getting worse because we withdrew aid. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of the blue, the Christians are under assault in Nigeria. They've been repeating it over and over again. It's a Christian existential, whatever, right? Fucking bullshit. That's not it at all. Guess what Nigeria has? One of the largest untapped deposits of lithium on planet Earth. In addition to a massive oil field, it's not as big as Venezuela, but it's got light, sweet crude, not the heavy shit that Maduro has. Light, sweet shit that you can just pour right into the fucking barrels, basically, right? So we literally starved people in Nigeria, waited for the crisis, blamed it on the Muslims because, by the way, Trump, while he's doing it, he's saying the Christians are under assault and it's their radicalism. Yes, it's Islam. It is Islamic jihadists who are doing much of the violence. But this has been going on for 60 years, back and forth. 60 years ago, there was something called the Biafran War. I just wrote about this. You may be able to tell. In Nigeria, which is when the British left their colonial rule, it left a vacuum, and there was kind of a clash of Christians, an unnecessary one between Christians and Muslims. Anyway, it's complicated. There's nothing particularly new about it. We used to be in there with our soft power. Remember, people were talking about soft power and what would happen if we withdrew all of our soft power from the region. If all of a sudden we took these extremely cheap food and assistance to keep these clinics going. If that cheap basic assistance goes away, what happens? Destabilization, hunger, famine, violence, all of the shit that we're seeing right now. And now they're using it for what? Because what are the two countries they're going after? Venezuela, the number one natural resource in the nation in South America.
Yeah.
And they're going after Nigeria, which it's not the number one in oil, but it's up there. And its mineral deposits are massive. Niobium, lithium, all the shit that Elon Musk fucking needs in order to hit his trillion. Million sounds so quaint, doesn't it? Oh my God. This $1 trillion payout happens to be all the shit that Nigeria needs. So I just wrote an article about, and I'll stop, about weaponizing hunger in general.
Yeah.
Last night I watched the craziest shit I've ever seen, where a reporter asks, about a court order saying you have to use the money, the emergency money in SNAP, to feed 42 million Americans who are going hungry.
Yeah.
Because that's what the fucking money is. That's what the law says you have to do. And that's what Congress appropriated the money to do. Right. That's what you do. And what they said in the White House was, we don't have to listen to the courts.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump said, we have to stay liquid.
Yeah.
Just in case something happens. Right. In case I need another fucking ballroom. Or
I need to bail out Argentina, or need to
bail out Argentina for $40 billion, right?
What an insult.
So we are, and I'm landing. We are at the weaponizing hunger stage of the proceedings. Yeah. And again, I will just say, he's going too fast, man. This isn't Ukraine. And if you know anything about the Holodomor in Ukraine in the 1930s, we are not in that situation, right? That's when Stalin starved 5 million Ukrainians in the 30s deliberately in order to break them. Yeah. Because hunger, that's what hunger does. It breaks societies. And we're just not there yet. And he thinks we are. But nevertheless, he has crossed the moral line of deliberately saying to 42 million Americans, I'm going to make you go hungry on purpose because I want to use it as a political lever against Democrats. He says it out loud. Right. And that's a line that I think actually crosses. There are a lot of moral sort of boundaries that people have, right? and I've seen some of them cracking in some people over time.
Yeah.
Right? You get a moral boundary, violence. Wait, I see people backing away from January 6th because I don't like violence. And when you start, saying to, as a Christian would say, God's children, that you have to go hungry because I'm mad at whoever.
Yeah.
You've lost all possible, upper ground.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I think about the French Revolution, and I think about the stripper party that was held at Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lardo, the stripper party that was held on the eve of taking away people's, ability to eat. And so I think those were probably some really bad optics. But just back to what you were talking about earlier, I just think it's also important to never take our eye off of, and this is just me, this is a decade of, studying Trump, Russia, and information warfare, and going back in history, both with Russia, Germany, etc. And it's always just important to keep an eye on where Russia is. And if you look at that part of the world, neighboring parts of the world in Africa, where Wagner had a very strong presence, and there was also the St. Petersburg troll operations that moved to Niger, etc., to different countries in that area. And I know we've documented it a whole bunch on this show, but I just think it's very important to also look at where Russia had a foothold and has a foothold, and what that could possibly mean in all of this.
Well, let me make a leap. Who was supposed to run Wagner? Who did Putin want to run Wagner? Eric fucking Prince. Eric Prince says that Putin basically wanted Eric Prince to run Putin's paramilitary, which turned into Wagner. And what is Eric Prince? He is a crusader, like Pete Hegseth. He is the one who got Pete Hegseth in place. What do crusaders do? First, they kill the Muslims, and then they kill the Jews, right? And that is literally what Nigeria is. What Trump said out loud is that the radical, we are going to go in, quote unquote, guns a-blazing, and Nigeria is not going to like it. He said that too, with United States military power. What is that? That's a crusader. And yes, you're exactly right. The crossover between the sort of, American Blackwater adjacent, or direct activity and Wagner, the map is
intersecting. Identical. Yes, High Fidelity. I see the finger.
Thank you for bringing up Eric fucking Prince, because Eric fucking Prince came to my attention lately with what's going on in Sudan. Let's take it back to Africa, because there's a lot of hijinks going on in Africa, as we know. In Sudan, you've got basically the government, which is now the army, the Nigerian army, and they're pro-democracy, liberal army. They want democracy. And then there's another militant faction called the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, and they're having a civil war in Sudan, and a lot of people are dying. It's ugly. But what's interesting about Eric Prince is that Haftar, our good friend Khalifa Haftar in eastern Libya, who is tearing that country apart with civil war and is accused of war crimes, is accused of smuggling arms along with the UAE. And yeah, the UAE may be up to some hijinks you may have noticed in the news lately. Anyway, so you've got Haftar, who is connected to Eric Prince through gun smuggling accusations and some other things. You've got the UAE.
I like how you thought for a minute about how you were going to say it. I saw that.
Yeah, I gotta say that correctly, right? And Eric Prince is obviously connected to Donald Trump and Mike Flynn, and it
Yeah.
seems like there are
Yeah,
some.
the more important connection right now for me is Pete fucking Hegseth.
Yeah.
Because Pete Hegseth is the one who, again, this is important and it's documented and people should know it. Eric Prince is the one who pushed Pete Hegseth.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Crusader shit you see tattooed
Yeah.
all over this guy,
Yeah.
the
Believes it.
bonkers shit that
Yeah.
you see him saying. Like just this morning, I don't know if you guys saw, but he was in the Pentagon, like, we're gonna rip out all the things because we're going to war. It's
Yeah.
like, who?
Yeah.
With who?
Yeah.
He literally said it's a 1939 moment,
Yeah.
quote unquote. And I'm like, bitch,
Yeah.
who the fuck are we at war with?
Yeah.
Right? Because he's not talking about Putin,
Right.
right? That's the thing. If there was going to be anybody like logically, even China, right? You could like if you're in right wing MAGA land, but it's not what he's talking about. He's talking about a holy war.
Yeah.
And he's talking about a holy war on three fronts: against Islam, against South America, because they want a colonial fucking empire,
Yeah.
and against us.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? And he said it in his batshit, like bro thing with Trump, where he said, oh, all bets are off and we're just gonna be fucking manly men now, right? He's transforming the whole thing into some kind of a like imminent use weapon, and you have to ask yourself, for what?
Yeah.
Like what?
Right.
And unfortunately the answer is fucking us.
Yeah. Seems clear.
It's us.
Yeah.
And all these adventures in South America. They are abandoning Europe. I've been saying this for a solid year. They have abandoned Europe, and they are, collapsing the American regime into South America and North America, and they want everybody else to just go away, except for their colonies.
Yeah.
In places like Gaza and
Hungary.
Nigeria.
And so what's
those aren't his colonies; those are Putin's colonies.
well, so
the whole point is, right, that you've got a multipolar world.
yeah.
It's not, the globalists want us to be connected with other places, and the multipolarists, the Duganists, want that all to be separate, right? And so the reason why, they like he's all cozying up to Putin and Orban is because they have a deal.
Yeah. And even worse than abandoning Europe is the fact that they're attacking Europe. And you can see that in the rhetoric coming out of, Musk's mouth and Farage's mouth and Trump's mouth, and that Europe is a threat to Putin and to Trump and to China, simply because it still is holding on to human rights, the values that we grew up with, and that is a threat to what these guys are up to. So, but on that note, I think it's really important that we introduce our guest, and just a few words through our friend Stephen Douglas, who does decoding trolls, and he's the one who always explains the kind of the dark fairy tales that are fed to people, part of information warfare coming out of Russia. Anyway, he led us to Matthew Pearce, a founding member of NAFO, what he calls the old guard. He is linked with people all over the world who use these dog avatars that basically ripped off Doge and kind of neutralized it and took it away. And I thought it was just a brilliant move. And they have been raising millions and millions of dollars for Ukraine. They've essentially crowdfunded, all kinds of, weapons and tanks or trucks, like anything that they can do to actually help the war effort in Ukraine. This is a global movement, an organic movement, and they have a good time doing it. They're often very fun. They're often very positive, and Hi-Fi's introduction to this episode basically kind of gave people a sense who may not have heard of NAFO before, what they were up to. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we introduce the first clip? Why is it so important that the first artist that came up with the first avatar for NAFO repurposed the Doge dog? Because that's how I see it. To me, that is the most brilliant, way to start this thing.
So Karma just saw it, and it was just because it was so popular and because it was already ubiquitous, it meant that people couldn't try and turn it into an NFT or crypto crap or whatever it is. And we deliberately said no crypto, no NFTs, nothing like that. If you want to make one, you make one, but you can make your own. But make sure you make a donation. We'll check to see you've made a donation. You'll get hassle from the dogs if you haven't, but you can do it. Anyone can do it. There's no purity test. There's no rules. There's no leader. If you want to make your own group, make your own group. It might work. It might not. So there's so many different groups, and some about, some that aren't public, but and they all do specific things, and that's just it became a social life as well, a family. I told you yesterday about the girl that NAFO has now funded to go to medical school in Spain. She was there from the start, organizing all these deliveries. And she's our sexy girlfriend, because the Russians were calling her a prostitute and things like that. And they said, oh, you only do it for your sexy girlfriend. So we turned it into a poster, a World War II poster, saying, I'm doing everything for my sexy girlfriend. And she loved it. She was and so her dad got called up. So we paid for all of his stuff. And he looks like RoboCop. We sort of we went to town, and so he's got night vision. He's got every armor that you could possibly, and he's walking around, and God knows what the Russians think. So there's this guy who's just covered in this stuff, and because we've got
completely
the fundraising, the fundraising power of just people coming together for a common cause and then doing other stuff as well. So that positive thing.
Yeah, man, that positive thing. Hi-Fi, if you can find it, let's show a poster that he's talking about, the World War II era poster where they basically
man, I'm high. Okay,
I'll find it for you and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. But no, so you kind of got a sense of what one of the founding NAFO guys are like, and he said when he put his little avatar together, he literally just did a spoof off of Dilbert's tie and did IT, and now everybody's just so incredibly inventive. But what they basically did is they sort of stumbled into how to fight an information warfare and win and beat them back. And, they do it in a way that I think we can all learn from. And Jim asked him, kind of advice for what we can do. And he basically said, what Gavin Newsom is doing is incredibly effective. What protesters in, frog outfits are doing is incredibly effective. And so anyway, let's see a second clip.
We see Nazi stuff every day on X, and there's some helpful articles from Bellingcat about how to deal with it, but the positive stuff and there's the family atmosphere that we have. So the British guys, we have a group we call the Main Bastards, because Medvedev called us the Main Bastards. So we went, oh, thanks very much. That sounds awesome. So yeah, we're the Main Bastards. And we've got a hangout called the Bonky. So we bonk Vacniks with sticks online. So it's called the Bonky, and it's like a social club. So that helps to balance out the bad things, if you see what I mean. You guys have been doing it for so long that I don't know how you're still here, to be honest. It's horrific in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years, 10 for me. I'm going on my 10th year of doing this. But for RadPod, 4 years. But it's interesting because I was telling, so much of what information warfare does and basically the goal is to propaganda only works when you can see distrust. And so much of what we see and what we see over and over again isn't that clever. It just basically finds ways to wedge people apart. But I don't know if you guys remember that when we started the show 4 years ago, we're like, we know that they're going to come and try to wedge us apart, and we're just going to stick together. And I just think it's very cool that 4 years later, we actually are still here doing this in these really, 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 really dire times. I mean, as Jim was saying, they are moving fast moving very fast toward their autocratic capture. Ruth Ben-Ghiat said in an interview yesterday that she thinks they're over their skis. It's kind of what you were saying, Jim, about moving too fast. But I also think that they are in a hurry for many reasons. And they also have, the tech fascists on their side. And I think that's something that maybe previous fascist regimes did not have. So
I mean, they're I genuinely think that it's too much what they're trying to do. I think there's a certain amount of alternate reality you can transmit over somebody's phone, right? But as soon as you take food from their kid, as soon as you like, oh shit, my neighbor was raided, I thought she was legal. Oh, she was, but they took her anyway. Like, that stuff actually, as it propagates, and it really is, as we've said before, it is a race between the sort of awakening of the people and their ability to shut down either our response to it or our awareness of it. And it's just they correctly thought they had to go fast in order to get things done. And they have accomplished a lot of damage, a fucking lot of damage. They've destroyed the government institutions as they used to exist. At a certain point, I'm past that now. I'm looking like, okay, well, how do we navigate the fuck out of this ditch we're about to get driven into in order to come out the other side of it?
I just read we were talking about what you were talking about. I just read Jason Stanley's interview in Mother Jones, where he talks about, why everybody's still hung up on calling things fascism. It's like, how many times do you have to see Elon Musk do like a see Kyle move before you're willing to call it what it is, what's right in your face? Anyway.
Can I build on that for a second, though? Sarah Kendzior made, and I always listen to Sarah, made a good point, which is that in typical fascism, Italian fascism, Nazi fascism, is a nationalist movement, right? It is ideologically national. This isn't, as much as they try with the Make America Great and all of that, it's not. And I think that's one other, it's an important distinction to make. It doesn't mean that it's any less vicious or dangerous or racist or any of it. In fact, it's kind of worse because it doesn't have that, it doesn't even have that nationalist scaffold, right? I mean, think about what he did to the fucking White House. That's not nationalism.
Wow.
Right? No, it really isn't.
It's always corrupt bastards trying to stay out of prison. So, like,
if you look at like the total the people who like what he did with it's like 10% approval rate on what he did on the East Wing.
Right.
And what that is, the difference there is what Sarah is talking about. And I think it's important is that nationalists, right? To include people who just like America and democracy, right? We all should have a little nationalism, patriotism, whatever you want to call it. Like, that's not what it is. It's about shaping reality around him.
Yeah.
And with a whole bunch of ideological, attachments and requirements on top of it from the PayPal mafia and all of that. But it is not a fascist nationalist movement. And I think that matters because ultimately it has one weakness, right? Nationalist movements have a strength in that they can always appeal to the nation, right? This isn't that. He wants to kill the nation and turn it into himself. And that's actually what he's doing psychologically. And that difference that I think, Sarah is correctly pointing out matters in terms of its ability to survive.
I'm with Jason Stanley. We're going to be debating the word fascism as we're marching off into the camps. I call it fascism. I call it a fascist movement. Jason Stanley talks about how it's about the cult of the leader, and that is a core element of it. So, I called it fascism the first day, again, being the daughter of German immigrants. That's how I see it.
All I'm doing is saying that there is a distinction between classical fascism and this that actually matters in terms of our survivability. It's not, of course, I've called it fascist 1,000 times, and I will call it fascist 1,000 more times.
Oh my God.
But when you're looking at these things as a problem to solve, right, as a machine to sabotage,
right,
it's very important to understand what's driving it. And this is not being driven by a nationalist ideology. It is being driven by a personalist ideology. And the difference between those two things is important.
Okay. So on that note, I think this would be the perfect place to see the next clip. Hopefully it's the one I'm thinking of.
You guys need to be back on X. Yeah, Elon Musk bought it to get rid of you, and you just left. You all just left, because I remember that happening.
I hated that so much.
Yeah,
I hated that.
But
it was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
You're just
you
giving up
ceded the
territory.
battleground. Yes, you ceded the battleground, and they didn't have to fire a shot. And if I can say anything, get back on there. I mean, you look at all the people in that protest. How many were there? Who were actually there? I don't know. You guys can tell me.
7 million.
Right. So if they all joined, if they all joined back, if they came back, you don't have to pay for it. It's free. God's sake, just get on there and start doing stuff again, because we know we haven't left. In fact, we've done more and more on there deliberately, just because it annoys them, right? So you need to start annoying them. And
on that note, tell Jim and Hi-Fi and our viewers your philosophy about what Gavin Newsom is doing. So I think it's very interesting.
Oh, it's very interesting, very, very important. So he's like he's broken that sort of expectation, but he's also disarmed Trump's social media posts. So they can't complain about what Newsom is writing, because it is exactly the same as Trump. So if they start talking about him, they're complaining about him. And that terrible plane thing, I mean, it's not funny, it was a 4-year-old thing. And then Gavin Newsom did the same thing. I was like, yes, finally. Yes, you have to start. If they go to the gutter, sometimes you have to do the same thing, because it disarms what they're doing.
Yes, I am personally the biggest fan of Newsom's whole attitude. Honestly, I think if somebody had to do that, and if he hadn't, I wasn't seeing anyone else modeling that behavior at all.
Right.
Until what happened was They
What
did a
happened
crazy
was,
fucking thing in Texas that was going to guarantee a Democrat loss
yeah,
and here's a guy, right, who's in many ways a kind of establishment politician, although he's also badass. I was in, and he comes out. I was in San Francisco 20 years ago. He's been around, and the guy comes out and says, you know what, I have a way to counter that. And he fucking, not only did he say, I have a way to counter that, he correctly calculated that he was going to have to market the fuck out of this thing. And he was going to have to do it in a different way that was not defensive, that was not wimpy, that was going to survive in the climate that he and his team, his brilliant young team, calculated. And what they did was mirrored Trump's rhetoric, literally, just so that when people see it, you see it and you think it's Trump, and it goes right past all of your defenses. It goes right past your mental sort of like, if you're MAGA, right? Like,
right.
oh, it's just like one of those. And all of a sudden you get slammed in the face with tiny
Yeah,
hands. Trump is going to lose. Gavin C. Newsom
yeah.
is your daddy, bitch.
In all caps, in all
It just,
caps.
yeah, and it just fucks with them because they don't know what to do with. And then jackasses like me start making AI memes of him and Superman outfits and shit. And it is that sort of what it is this. Trump is doing it in a angry, aggressive way, right? Newsom is doing it in an empathic way. And what I mean by that is this. In order for the people who are writing these things to do that, they have to embody Trump, right? You have to, that's why humor works. That's why things are funny, right? Is because they're representing something real. And that's what was so powerful about it. And the thing passed 65-35. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that, but it was not a sure bet at all. And for a long time, I was seeing commercials on TV all the time, and they're commercials for the other side. Oh, it's anti-democratic and all this shit, and it just went because then you'd see a Gavin commercial. It was just like, we're gonna stick this shit right in his face.
Yeah.
Right? It was
Right.
really like his. They're more not quite like that, but almost. Like,
Something had to be done.
he just comes out and
Yeah.
says, "Listen, this is what they're doing over there,
Yeah.
and fuck that. We're
Yeah.
gonna fix it over here." And
Yeah.
people respond to it, and that lesson, the lesson that what we need is the joyous version of what they have, right?
Right.
And that's what
Throw the better party.
pretending to be in Gavin's cult is one of the funnest things I've ever done,
Yeah.
right? And because it triggers the shit out of the other side, because they recognize it immediately.
Yeah.
They recognize it in themselves, and the fact that somebody else is doing it for fun.
Yeah.
It is a deeply accidentally fusing moment
Right.
for people, because all of a sudden they see, wait, we're actually the same species. That's one realization, and the other is, wow, they're having fun, and I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Like, all of my shit is really negative, and I don't
Yeah.
like the fact that they're laughing and having a good time.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's psychological warfare. Something had to be done to try to disrupt.
someone had to fight it. Someone
Yeah,
just had to
someone
fight it.
had
That's
someone
all.
had to fight it. And
That's all.
honestly, the whole I remember when I wrote my first book with Ice-T, and he used to always just say, you got to throw the better party. Like literally throw the party where people want to go, where people are like, I want to do what they're doing. And that whole thing about the joy of it, that's what was so effective with the protesters in costume. They were joyful while these guys, these thugs were trying to, like, be beat up on people. Here you had people who actually came at it with humor and joy. And that's kind of what NAFO, I think there's parallels there completely to what they do, where they're throwing the better party and they're just, more fun to hang out with. And so, anyway, and I think that would be a good time for you guys just to give your summary statements about the election this week.
Mississippi,
throwing the better party.
Louisiana, like places that are deeply, deeply red are turning purple, if not a little blue. And this is a this is a referendum on Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I saw? I wrote an article called "White Man Jump Scare" about the elections, because that's what it was. I just saw a bunch of white guys like, oh fuck, shit, like because all these women and brown people and stuff like all over the place. And yeah, it was in Georgia. We got some like constitutionally seated statewide offices for the first time since 2006. There was a lot. It was across the board, and it was overperforming, absolutely everywhere. And I think that the fact that it was so sweeping like that, really scared the shit out of a lot of them, including Elon Musk, who went on another one of his diatribes about suicidal empathy.
Yeah.
Now,
Man.
here's what happened. He quotes this fucking asshole Gad Sad. Just don't even. Oh my god, about the suicidal empathy, and all of a sudden, ban the 19th Amendment or repeal the 19th Amendment goes crazy. And because there was a statistic that said young women voted 84% for Mamdani in New York. I'm like, fuck yeah. Young women are among the wisest people in many ways, because women are smarter and they're right in the middle of it and they know what the fuck is going on. And so, like what, and so their reaction was, including a lot of MAGA women influencers, were like, repeal the 19th Amendment. Oh my God, we're going communist. And it was just this explosion of incel energy, just everywhere, and which is why I call it the white man jump scare, because look, they've had a year of going batshit crazy. We own the libs forever, and it's never gonna change. Well, it is actually. When you start doing things like taking people's food away and blowing up half the White House and shit, you're just like, people don't like you. They don't like
What
any
about
of this
just
shit.
killing
And
people on boats?
And there's nothing going to fix it. Not when you have this guy in charge. And so, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
So yeah, I was just asking. You were asking about the election.
Yeah.
I still think the Democrats need to get fucking rid of Ken Martin. They need to get rid of Chuck Schumer. They need to get rid of the establishment people altogether, and the spam burgers and Mikey Sherrills. That's the meat of where the the senior most Democrats should be. And by the way, last thing. Thank you, Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi, for your career and for stepping the fuck down finally. I love you. I love you. You're 85 and you're an icon, and I'm glad you've been around for so long. But we got to stop having these fucking octogenarians like hobbling around all over the place. And I really appreciate that Nancy didn't like really overdo it, because a lot of these people just don't function at all. And one of the Democrats' problems over the last year was that our people were fucking dying. Literally, we had people dying in office. And you can't. And
There's a reason for that, though. It was explained to me why. It's because a lot of times there could be somebody coming up who would then take that seat or take that position from the Republican side. So there are reasons why they do it. But your argument is clear, and I
we
would
need
look at
term
Gavin
limits and
Newsom
shit.
as an
we don't need any
establishment
more
Democrat.
40-year.
saying,
We don't
when you
need any
say-
more 40-year things in there.
When you say establishment Democrat, I look at Gavin as an establishment Democrat in many ways who actually is trying to break a mold. And I am,
He's always been local and state. I don't,
Mhm.
he's not establishment like that yet.
I have a.
I'm okay.
Hold on a
Democrat
second,
my
Heidi.
whole
Hold
life.
on.
I don't need to
I gotta
reinvent the
say
wheel. I
something
just
here.
want to not enable fascists. So
Fair.
that's how I feel.
That's a good call. Hold on. So Jim said, we got to stop having these octogenarians out hobbling around. Here's the thing: the reason,
like
that
Trump
these
falling asleep.
well, the reason these octogenarians are in power is because really, when it comes to voting, you'll find that it skews towards an older demographic. They elect people that they are comfortable with, right? And the way to overcome that would be to mobilize younger voters, like particularly 18 to 35. Like, why aren't those people? Because they're caught up in TikTok and Instagram and online stuff.
They can clearly be reached,
Whoa. What? That's bullshit. What just happened in New York?
Yeah, they can clearly be reached.
They can be reached. That's the point.
Right. I'm just saying that it's not inherently about young people. Young people, in fact, got motivated as fuck in New York.
Yeah.
He had 100,000 canvassers, which is 10% of the people who voted for him. Think about that shit. 10% of his voters were active canvassers because he figured out how to motivate them and to do it, coming from where they come from. And so, yeah, it's a turnout thing, as much as anything.
Take away some rights and see quality of life get reduced, and see how people respond. But promising signs all the way around, and they, as you have written and I have written, they will use it as a cudgel and scream, all the communist Marxist crap. But hopefully maybe people are starting to get some inoculation from this, that narrative. But hi-fi. Yeah, we have one more clip and I really want to see it.
The funniest thing I saw was Laura Ingraham and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh,
and
man.
the Chiron read, by winning, Democrats are actually losing.
Yeah. Right.
We have always been at war with East Asia.
Yeah.
That's just putting it right on the table, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just showing. I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it really well online. It's just showing the machinery of propaganda.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is 2 plus. It's literally putting 2 + 2 = 5 on screen in a serious manner. It's the logical equivalent. All right, clip.
Well, what before you go though, one of my favorite people on Twitter historically was always Laura Ingram's brother Curtis. He hates her. He's a good follow. He just, her brother, he's like, man, she's such a bitch. I don't know what happened to her. Anyway, yeah.
I guess they don't share holidays.
No. Yeah.
They might. Who knows?
but you didn't need to do this to be made great again, because you were pretty damn cool in the first place. You had awesome cars and amazing cocktails and roof bars on your hotels, and it was just San Francisco is the most amazing place, and New York is stunning, and it's like, you're great anyway. You know,
Yeah.
everyone liked you pretty much. You did some daft things. Everyone does daft things, right? But everyone liked you. We thought you were cool. Your TV was cool. Your movies were great. And then all of a sudden, it's like, we need to be made great again. It's like, huh? You're already great.
We're already great.
Thank you, Matthew Pearce, for coming on our show. He's so rad. Okay, that's our show. So, High Fidelity, what you got for us to go out with?
One of the things we talk about on the show a lot is the global nature of this authoritarian push, right?
Yeah.
And, it's China, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Russia, certain elements within Israel, certain elements within America. It should be obvious by now. I mean, there's certain elements in Canada, and Canada doesn't mess with anybody. They're awesome. But it's a global war. It's World War III, and shots have been fired, and maybe America's waking up to that a little bit. I don't know. But I do have a little bit of hope that we're stiffening our backbones, as they say.
Stiffen up.
Stiffen up. All right. I'm Matt Pearce. Matt Pearce is going to have the very last word this week, because he said, this is my favorite NAFO video ever. So here it is.